Hello everybody, we're Jim and Barbie Waters, missionaries to Zambia, Africa, and we just want to take a few moments to share what God is doing there.
It's been a privilege serving the Lord in Mbala, Zambia for the last 12 years. God has really blessed us and our ministry there. He's provided us with a property that allows us to have a church, a Christian school, as well as our housing. And the children are just amazing. God has really laid them on my heart. A few years back, there were these two girls. They started coming to Sunday school, and they really stuck out. One, they were twins, and they looked just like each other. And the second thing that made them stick out was they were just so dirty every time they came. They were very unkept. They didn't have shoes most of the time when they would come, and their bellies were distended from malnutrition. God has really touched my heart to do something for these kids. So I talked to our student pastor, and I told him that I wanted to do something to help them, and I asked him if he would go with me after the church service, follow them home, find out where they lived, and talk to their parents. And as they were going, they were stopping, I noticed, to pick up fruits and other things that they were finding. And these fruits were not ripe. They were very unripe, and they would make you sick if you were to eat them. And I realized that they were doing this because there was going to be no lunch for them when they got home. And sure enough, when we got home, we found no parents, but we found a lot more children and a very, very small house. So we went back later, talked to the mom, and we found her, and she was very excited. She was so happy that we wanted to offer her kids a scholarship at our school and help them out with some of their basic needs. And she started pulling this kid. She's like, what about this kid? And what about this kid? And can you help this one? And by the time we were done, we had about 5 different children listed on this piece of paper. And I didn't know what we were going to do. I told her, I said, I will do what I can and I'll get back to you. And I'm really good with numbers, and I handle the budget. And I knew that there was not money for 5 new children. I mean, we barely had the money to bring on the 2. And to put 5, it just didn't make sense. And I went over the numbers, but I just couldn't make it work. And I remember I called my dad up on the phone, and I asked him, I said, Dad, I said, how do you decide? How do you decide who gets to eat? These were names on a paper, but these were real kids. And I didn't know what to do. I remember we went ahead and we took them on by faith. We took all 5 on, and it was amazing because we really didn't miss any of the money, and it all still came in, everything was fine, and we were able to take care of those kids. And I realized that if we hadn't listened to what God was laying on our hearts, if we had said, you know what, it's just too much, we can't squeeze in anyone else. If we had said no and not listened to what God had placed on our hearts, these girls very likely would have died. And that was a really humbling time for me because I just realized how awesome our God is. That He cares so much for those children, that He would send us at the right time to get into their lives and be involved with them. And it has been such a privilege to serve them, to help children like that, and to be able to tell them and share with them that, you know what, they may not have a mom or dad at home that really take care of them like they should, but they have a Father in heaven, and He loves them so much that He died for them. And I think we've got the best job that anyone could ever have. I love what we do, and I just can't wait to get back to the field.
When we first arrived in Mbala, Zambia back in 2006, I was very excited to get to work, especially with going out and sharing the gospel. And so I would go out every morning, and we had already planned a service for opening right around Christmas time. And so I would go out every day from morning till evening, sometimes even skipping lunch, and we would find people on the side of the road, and I would, ask them, did they want to accept Christ? And every single person I talked to was very excited and wanted to accept the Lord. And I was like, man, this is just awesome. That first service, we're just going to have so many people show up. Now, when that service came around, no one showed up. There was 0 people on that first service, and I was so discouraged. I went home, I tore up my 5-year plan, that 5-year plan I had that we were going to go out and start this many churches and have a Bible Institute, and it was just a big, big dream. And I was thinking to myself, it's going to take a lot longer than I thought it would. But God has blessed him. Right now we have 2 young men that are in the ministry. One, Brother Stanchi Tambala, who is a result of our basketball and our sports ministry. He is almost finished with his his college education. And then we have Brother Bronson Kunda, who came to our teacher training college, and through that ministry accepted Christ and now has surrendered himself to go into full-time ministry as well. And for me, it's just a blessing to see these young men coming up and seeing them participate in the vision that we have to reach our world with the gospel. Thank you again for all your prayers and support for our family in Mbala, Zambia.